2 years, we've cleaned up our act. There's still activity which is not correct, but it's a small amount of money. It's within what is acceptable, and the grey listing has been lifted. So this means that money will now flow into South Africa. Our investments will go up because it's a supply and demand. If more people want investments than what investments are available, those prices go up. And those of us who hold investments, and your pension fund holds investments, it means those pension funds become more valuable. You benefit from that. So that is good news. And it is good news for South Africa. It means your investment portfolio will increase in value. Now, there's some more good news coming up.
Okay.
And this one you're going to struggle with. There's going to be an election, and that will happen next year. Now, that is good news, because every time there's an election, that is when you have some power. And you not only have some power, but in this election, you have 3 votes. So you've got more than just one vote to deal with, but there's got to be some homework, because this election deals with streets, electricity, potholes. And you may live in a suburb where there are no potholes, where you have no breaks in electricity, and the street lights are working. But you may also live in a suburb where there are no street lights, where there are potholes. So you've got some work to do. And one of the things that I think is really important is there one verse that I take very, very seriously. And that verse is simply love your neighbor. That means when I vote, I don't only vote for the condition of Muizenberg. I vote for the condition of Delft because I've got friends who live in Delft. I also vote for Hanover Park because I've got friends who live in Hanover Park. So when they complain to me that there's a pothole, I phone that local councillor. If that councillor doesn't do, the next person I vote is the mayor of the city. And I say, what are you doing about that councillor? He may or may not be of your party, but why is it that that street is not being dealt with? And that is part of what my action is as a citizen of this city. And that should be the part of every Christian, wherever you are, whether you're in Cape Town, whether you're sitting in Pofaddersonderwaterfontein and you're listening on YouTube or whatever it is, you have that responsibility. So what I'm suggesting you do is when the posters start appearing, ignore the posters. There are some parties who still print the same posters that they did in 1994. We know which parties those are. Those are useless. But get to meet the councillor. There are ways of getting to meet the councillor. They're going to put out data. They're going to put out videos. They're going to put out things. Get to understand who the councillor is. If you can meet them and talk to them, do that. They walk the streets. They do try and meet the people. Get to understand whether that councillor deserves your vote. If they don't deserve your vote, then vote for one of the opposing parties. Now, when I was 18, there were 2 political parties in South Africa. There was the United Party and there was the National Party. 2 years later, there was the United Party, National Party, Herstigte Nasionale Party. Then there were 4 parties. One was unique to Fishhoek, called the South African Party. They were really Nats who were English speaking. They never once voted against the National Party, and the National Party didn't put any candidates in their constituencies. So in all the time they existed, they were just English speaking Nats. That was it. Today, we've got hundreds of parties.
Yeah, so many.
Some of them really are good. If you look carefully at what it is they want to do, they really have an idea of where the problems are. Get to know them and hear if they are in your city, your province, and get to understand. You have 3 votes. You can make a difference. And let's try and take control of our country. It's far too important to allow politicians to run our country. We know on the ground what it's like. We know on the ground what can be done. So if I see a pothole, I phone the councillor. If the councillor doesn't fix it, the mayor gets my call. And generally, in where I live, the mayor cleans up. But not every town has a mayor who will do that. So folks, let's start getting ready. Let's take control of our country. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Nico. Really, really encouraging, and we so appreciate it. All the best.
I find it's always the lie that is loudest. I know the one with the power.